Oh shit, I gotta bring up my stats. Good evening and welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina, as we open up the first Saturday of the 2023 League One season with a tasty matchup presented by Chick-fil-A. Features two high-scoring playoff teams from last year. The Independents host the reigning regular season champion Richmond Kickers. My name's Russ Davenport. Thanks for joining me tonight. Let's take a look at the first power rankings of the season. Always some controversial takes here from the League HQ. Union Omaha at the top. Interesting, knocking the defending champions Comenta into second, and we have Richmond playing tonight in third, and then Charlotte in seventh. They were sixth last year. They've added some more firepower, short up the defense. A little bit disrespectful there, but we'll see. Charlotte, as we mentioned, no problem scoring goals last year. Then Mike Jeffries only goes and adds this guy, Dane Kelly, leading goal scorer in USL Championship history, to an already potent attack. Starting the bench tonight, not quite ready to go 90 minutes. Bit of a late start to the preseason. 110 goals in the USL Championship. He'll be joined up in this attack by Gabriel Obertown, the former Man U midfielder. Not too bad, right? And at the back, they struggled to give up goals last year. Joel Johnson, former Independents man, drops back down to League One after 100+ appearances with the Independents. Athletic, quick at the back, and he could also score 7 goals in his pro career, including one in the playoffs. As for Richmond, they'll be anchored at the back for a 5th straight season by captain Akira Fitzgerald, last year's Golden Glove winner. Veteran presence between the pipes for Darren Sawatzky's team. And can't forget about this man, 3-time Golden Boot winner Emiliano Terzaghi. He's back, 17 goals last season, but he'll have a new man on the left. Jonathan Bolaños, the assist leader from last year, off to MLS Next Pro. Who does Darren Sawatzky bring in? Colton Belmar from the USL Championship. Only made 3 starts for the Colorado Springs in the Championship last season. He'll have some points to prove. Here he'll be on the left side of Terzaghi. Well, we're almost ready to kick off here in Charlotte. Free mini balls tonight for the first 200 fans. Stick with us. We'll be right back with the lineups and the opening whistle from the Queen City. Independents hosting the Kickers next here on ESPN Plus as we continue the opening week of USL League One. Stay with us.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
When it comes to delivering high quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, we're proud of the relationships we've built with you, North Carolina. We're collaborating with leaders like Vici, supporting her efforts to help schools address the mental health needs of students, and foster care moms like Gail, working with her to ensure our state's most vulnerable children are thriving, and caregivers like Maya, partnering with her to improve maternal health. From lowering costs to building healthier communities, we are committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is not your typical health insurer. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family working hard to make healthcare affordable, easier to navigate, and accessible for all. North Carolina is our home. We're here for you, all of you.
What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great clips. It's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good is when your haircut costs less. Great is when it still meets high standards. At Great Clips, you'll always get the haircut you want for less. And with our easy online check-in app, you'll save time too. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Welcome back to Charlotte as we get ready for this one between the Independents and the Kickers. As we see our procession, kids having a great time, escorting out their heroes here at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Let's take a look at our lineups first for the hometown Independents, coached by Mike Jeffries. One injury for the Independents. Carson Talboy is out after breaking his nose in training this week. Hector Acosta suspended after his red card, you may remember, in the playoffs. We'll see how Bertani Barra move a little all over the place here. Dunwell probably sitting a little deeper to try and shore up that defense that gave him so much trouble last season. Scored a ton of goals, but also gave up a ton of goals. Clay Dimmick will be your captain this evening for the Jacks. As for the visiting Kickers, coached by Darren Sawatsky, no Ethan Vandercourt-Decker. He's got an Achilles injury. David Olsen out with a hip problem. Hornsby at the left back is a new guy here for the Kickers, also trying to fill in that Ethan Bryant spot. Justin Suko. And on the left side, trying to replace Jonathan Bolaños, will be Carlton Belmar. See some youngsters on the bench. We thought with the new CBA coming, we may see a few Academy boys in the squads this year. And we're off to that start this year here. And there's a nice tifo here shown by the Independents supporters groups. La Femme Footy and Mecklenburg Reserves. Great work by all there. Beware of the blue. Solid start to the season. Just means you got to work on that for the rest of the season. You got to start with that. You got to build on that for the rest of the way. Good work there by the folks in Charlotte. Our referee this evening, Daniel Chesky, ready to get us underway here in just a second. As mentioned, two playoff teams from last year, two potent offenses, two cores returning. We mentioned the Kickers lost two very key players in Bolaños and Bryant. We'll see how much that affects them tonight. Dane Kelly, obviously one of the biggest off-season signings in USL League One, not quite ready to go 90. He was a late addition in pre-season, so not quite up to the fitness standards to go the distance. We may see him tonight, depending on how this game goes here at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Jacks in all royal blue. Meanwhile, Richmond in the complete opposite, all white. They debuted their red night kit early this week. Richmond, beautiful black and white. Carmel will have to wait till their first home game of the season to see that one. Certainly two teams looking to get back to the playoffs and will be expected to do so if they can continue their fine play. As Brad Dunwell there, one of the new signings for Mike Jeffries, comes in from Detroit City. Man from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we're underway on this first Saturday night in the 2023 League One season. My name is Ross Davenport. Thanks for joining us this evening for this one. As we have an early throw-in. These silver numbers on the white jerseys. Thanks a lot, boys. That's going to be a fun one tonight, at least until the sun goes down. Richmond here. Not the fastest of starters traditionally. Last year only won 1 of their first 3. 2021 lost 2 of their first 3. This is Shalom Doody tracking back. Just a solid presence on that defensive line last year for Mike Jeffries. We have perhaps a late foul. Perhaps out of picture on Doody. Let's take a look at your keys to the game, brought to you by Resident Culture. Charlotte, you mentioned the trouble they had last year defensively, as Emiliano Terzaghi already chatting with the referee, something we see him do a lot. Build from the back, keep it simple. They don't want to get caught too far up the field. Transition defense was a problem last year for Charlotte. As for Richmond, keep it simple. Yes, they've lost 2 key pieces, but find Emiliano Terzaghi. That's been the key to the success for the Kickers over the last few seasons. No need to get too technical. Get the ball to that man's feet in dangerous positions. Speaking of feet, he's off his feet here and on the ground. Gets right back up as Daniel Chesky has a few words with the Independence players. Nathan Orney and Dakota Barnathan, centre-back pairing tonight for the Kickers. Jalen Chrysler obviously departed. So here's Colton Belmar chasing this one down. Over to clear that one away. Let's take a look at your injury report, brought to you by Novant Health. We mentioned Carlson Tallboys with the nose. He shouldn't be out for too much longer. Ethan Vanacore-Decker with the Achilles, and Olsen with the hip for Richmond. Kira Fitzgerald, a fixture in that Kickers goal. Charlotte had some goalkeeping trouble earlier last season, used a number of goalkeepers, especially in the middle of that really rough spell they went through last season. Lost 2-0, 4-0, 2-0, and then 7-1 to the Red Wolves in June. Bounced back nicely though, squeaked into the playoffs at the last second, and then had the lead against Tormenta. But ended up losing that one. Here is Belmar out wide. Going to cause some trouble. Right foot crosses in there. They've lost impact. A little bit to think about there for a couple of seconds. Ends up floating over the bar. And a goal kick for the home team. Good first touch there from Belmar. He was trying to just cross it in towards that far post where Matt Bentley, the Englishman, was waiting. Bentley, one of the men Darren Sawatsky really expects to step up this season. Bit of head tennis here. Settled down there by Corey Bennett. One of the men Mike Jeffries pointed out. He got off to a slow start last season, did Corey Bennett, but got things going. 9 goals in an 11-game span in mid-July to mid-September. And he scored 1 goal in his first 10 starts, though. Yeah, these numbers are going to be a nightmare all night, so I apologize in advance for any misidentified players, at least till we get going a little bit here. Here come Richmond. Michael Hornsby, the German, comes over from Fuego. Started all but 8 games at left back last season there. Fell out of favor a little bit at the end of the season with Central Valley. Here's the cross in, he headed away. It was a dangerous one. That was cleared away by Joel Johnson. Throw here for the Jacks. Select, the official match ball supplier of USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.selectsportamerica.com for the latest Select product specials and more. select the player's choice. Mentioned Charlotte snuck into the playoffs last year as the 6th seed, just by virtue of more wins than Northern Colorado. Here's Belmar now, looking to attack the corner of the box. Bit of fancy footwork. It's Miguel Ibarra back there helping out, wearing number 10 this year. Belmar gets it back though, low cross in's a dangerous one. Cleared away, Obertan is taken out. That will be our first yellow card of the match. As Gabriel Obertan, the veteran, is down and in some discomfort with that right ankle. And the trainers are being called on. Daniel Chesky has that yellow card ready for whoever made that tackle. It may have been Zaka Moran. She's walking past Nil Vignoles. There will be Zaka Moran. The no-nonsense midfielder from Argentina with a no-nonsense tackle here. Oof. Lucky not to get perhaps a different color car. Had the studs up. A little higher up on Obertan's leg, and that could have been one of the earliest red cards in League One history. But Moran stays on the field. La Máquina, the machine, started every game but one last year. In the center of that Richmond midfield, he will take the set pieces tonight for the most part. 19 yellow cards in 56 games in League One. Make that 20. It's Brad Dunwell coming back, sitting deep as we expected him to. A solid contributor at Detroit. They won a ton of times when he played, Brad Dunwell. Had some injury troubles here and there. The USL Championship with Detroit City, as we mentioned. 13 starts for them last season. Like Jeffrey said, he has the ability to play forward and find the most dangerous option, brings relentless energy and tenacity. Does Brad Dunwell. Not the tallest player in the world, but he'll put that hard work in at the 6th spot. There's a look at Michael Hornsby, as we mentioned earlier, 24-year-old. Played his college ball at the Queen's University of Charlotte, so familiar with the area. Throw in here at halfway for Charlotte. Each team just feeling each other out here in the first 8.5 minutes. No scoring chances so far. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to stick around later for the 7 o'clock matchup. Just knocking it about at the back here. That 7 o'clock matchup between the two new teams in USL League One, One Knox and Lexington SC. The rivalry's already started on social media if you're a follower of those two supporters groups, especially on Twitter. There's Bennett. He'll lay it off to Ibarra. They still a 1-2. Bennett loses control though. It does fall to Obertan. He can score from here. Shot deflected. Now to Joel Johnson. Loves to get forward from that fullback spot. Joel Johnson mentioned 7 career goals in the USL Championship from the fullback position. Nice work here by Independence. Obertan, was he coming back from an offside position? There was some hands up, but no. Play continues. Nice little passage of play here for the home team. See Miguel Ibarra be on the right, he'll pop up on the left, really has a free roll. Obertan in space. Out wide to Johnson. Cuts back to his left foot. Joel Johnson, good tackle. Shot is blocked. Good work back by Belmar, and then takes one in the face. He's going to have to take a second. That one took him flush on the nose. Belmar is okay. He took that one point blank range.
The Charlotte Independents. Great organizations like the Independents trust Paycor because we modernize people management from recruiting and onboarding.
Let's take another look at it here. Ball was pinging around. Belmar came out to pressure and oof. The replay brought to you by AccuVision LASIK.
We've been listening to and partnering with leaders, so we know what they need. Time-saving HR software, cost-saving HR analytics, and powerful talent development tools that help leaders and frontline
Mike Jeffries looking on with some concern
Learn more at paycor.com.
at the opposition player. Hopefully Belmar's okay.
My name is Sasha. I'm a mix of Chick-fil-A.
Mentioned Carson Talboys for the Independents out tonight with a broken nose sustained in training. Hopefully Belmar's just a little dazed. He's very careful with these concussion potentials here at the head contact. He's getting checked now by the trainer.
You know you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. The Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Belmar, a local boy out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, played his college ball at VCU along with Dakota Bonathan. Also played some time with Timbers U23s, as well as their second side, Swope Park Rangers, Sporting KC, Nashville, Sacramento Republic. And we'll restart play here. Aquafina is the official water of the Charlotte Independents. When the game heats up, cool down with Aquafina. Johnson, nice little layoff to Oberton. They've shown some good interplay here on the right-hand side so far tonight. Mike Jeffries will be glad to see that. As that ball goes out of play. Joel Johnson, 146 appearances for the Jacks between 2016 and 21. And here he is, causing more trouble down the right. Joel Johnson with the cross. It's a decent one, the back post. Headed away by Matt Bentley, tracking back on defense. And we will have our first corner of the evening, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Joel Johnson doing exactly what he was brought in to do here in these first 10 plus minutes. Get down that wing and be solid defensively as well. Here's that corner, taken by Ibarra, swung in right-footed, cleared away. Neil Vignos will track it down, just clear it into the, I was going to say the evening, but still very early evening here. 5 o'clock start, a little unusual for a Saturday in USL League One. Most Independence home games will be at 7 p.m. There's Ibarra now. Ibarra won't match get to that one. Didn't really mention it on the lineups, but it's obviously hard to predict a little bit where players might be playing to start the season. As we get things going. Nick Spielman getting the start at that center back spot for Carson Talboys tonight. Talboys the likely start, you would have to think. Nick Spielman, a late signing just this week. All these teams having to adjust slightly with the new CBA. Rosters, especially for these two teams, a good bit smaller. Some Academy boys on the bench, as we mentioned in the pregame. See how much actual game time they get this season. Swansby plays that back to Akira Fitzgerald, 35-year-old. 104 appearances for Richmond now. That's 10th all time in this storied franchise's history. Could move into the top 5 this season. 101 regular season appearances, tied for the most all time with Brandon Fricke of the Greenville Triumph. So here come Richmond now, building it from the back. That's a lovely ball. Ross was trying to pick Austin Pack a little bit off his line, but curled back towards him. The man from Alpharetta, Georgia, claims it. 29 years old. Only made 45 professional starts coming into tonight, though. Here's another look the replay brought to you by AccuVision at LASIK. Noah Abrams, another late goalkeeping signing for Charlotte. They will compete for the starting role, said Mike Jeffries earlier this week. No plans to bring in anybody at the moment. Here's Hornsby finding some open space on this left side. Vinyals. Decent ball in for Terzaghi with his back to goal. Not where he's at his most dangerous. Not that Emiliano Terzaghi is undangerous anywhere. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. Here's the strike from distance by Moran, pinging around off Moran's face. To the penalty box, Terzaghi loitering in there, looking for a snapshot. Zobaton chests that one down. Ibarra. Good work back once again by Hornsby. See Darren Sawatzki gesturing wildly. Moran. An underappreciated midfielder in League One, according to Darren Sawatzki. Doesn't get the love he deserves from the old league selectors. Such a key part of that Richmond central area. Doesn't score a ton of goals. He's always around the ball. Pepsi Cola is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Enjoy an ice cold Pepsi while watching the Jacks. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas. 17.5 minutes into this one, no score here between the Jacks and the Kickers. Ross Davenport with you. Joel Johnson trying to turn, but good work again by Hornsby. It's been a nice battle to watch down that side. Terzaghi trips. Dunwell comes away with it, finds overtime. Johnson. Shalom Duty went to high school in Charlotte. Also played with the Charlotte Eagles. Went to Liberty University along with his current teammate Trezor Mbuyu, who also played for the Eagles. Johnson. All right, acres of space. Obaton slips it inside. Looking for Corey Bennett. Or Mbuyu, I should say. He's switched sides now with Bennett. Mbuyu looking to get involved in this game. We hardly mentioned him. 11 goals last season for Trezor Mbuyu. Here is Mbuyu. I think that ball went out for a corner. Yep, Daniel Chesky points in that direction. This corner brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Ibarra will come over to take it. 7 assists last season. 3 caps for the US men's national team. Many forget that. Again, was number 7 last year, now playing as number 10. The veteran, 32 years old, from California, swings it in right-footed. It's a deep delivery towards the penalty spot. Headed away by Belmar. Kickers taking their time to clear this one, but finally do. Two shots for the Independents so far, 1 for the Kickers. Possession very even, either side of the 50% mark. Bentley, that's a lovely back heel from Terzaghi. Vinyals, surveying his options. Keeps going. Just a miscommunication there. In the center of the midfield, Justin Suko. One of the other new additions for Richmond. How will he fill in perhaps that Ethan Bryant role? Ethan Bryant, just like Bolaños, off to MLS Next Pro. Young Player of the Year last year in USL League One. Again, only the real 2 midfield changes for Richmond Kickers, but 2 big changes for sure. Bolaños, what a season he had last year from that left side for Richmond. That's a poor giveaway there. Shorter preseason this year due to the CBA, 8 weeks max. See players come in at different times depending on when they sign their deals. It's really 6 weeks max for most teams once they got their roster semi-sorted. The coach said it made a big difference. Said it made a big difference though for the players that they didn't bring back from last season, because now there's less roster spots available perhaps for guys to chase the open spots as the season approaches. We did have some late signings this week, but just because they were signing late doesn't mean they hadn't been with the team for a while. Good work there by Belmar. Out wide to Vinyals. Pulls it back. Nobody there for Richmond though, and Omar Sis. Last year's goal of the year. What a goal it was. And they give it away. Vinyals. The corner of the box. Independents have to be careful. That's a good save in the end by Austin Pack. He had to get down quickly to parry that one. Vinyals got off to a great start last season, you'll remember. 2 goals and an assist in the season opener. As Bentley watches that one go out for a goal kick. Our first shot on goal of the evening. Here's the replay on the Activision LASIK replay. Vinyals didn't look like he was going to be too much of a danger here, but lovely footwork. Sort of lost his balance as he went to shoot it. The attention of Omar Sis. Austin Pack with the save. Played his college ball here for the University of Charlotte. Made 1 start last season for the Independents after starting the season with Hartford. Had 21 starts for Charlotte in 2021 though, 7 shutouts. Took over for the injured Brandon Miller that season. His job to lose to start the season for sure. Noah Abrams on loan from Miami FC. He'll give him a run though. Great to have competition. You love to have that solid #1 goalkeeper if you can, but if not, at least have 2 guys competing as hard as they can for that spot. These are the 2 of the top 3 goal scoring teams last season, but only the 1 shot on goal so far here in the first half of this first half. Morant. It was almost a beautiful layoff. Bentley! Duty had to get his foot in there. Otherwise, that one would have fallen nicely for Matt Bentley. 6 goals last season for the 24-year-old. Bar almost played him right in. Bentley just couldn't anticipate it quickly enough. We'll have a corner here brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Charlotte, 13 players lost last season. Obviously, they had that relationship with Charlotte FC of the MLS. Had some great loan deals with Koa Santos, Hagart, for example, Quinn O'Neill. Here comes the corner, taken by Hornsby. Left-footed. Nobody in the vicinity. And that will roll out for a goal kick. Obviously, now Charlotte FC with their own MLS Next Pro team, Crown Legacy. So there will be no loan deals this year, you would think, between Charlotte FC and Independence, which is going to hurt Mike Jeffries a little bit. Has brought in the likes of Dunwell though, Joel Johnson, Kelly, you've got Bashir and Dai on the bench, as well as Luis Alvarez. Victor Acosta again suspended today after that red card in the playoffs last year. He's a likely starter at the fullback spot. We'll see though, he may have to earn his spot there with Duty and Johnson. We also saw Charlotte last year tinker with the wingback formation, the 5 at the back with the 2 wingbacks. Joel Johnson familiar with that from his time here. We'll see how Mike Jeffries plays his back's defensive system as the season goes on. Hornsby. A soccer doubleheader like you've never seen before. Saturday, April 23rd, watch the Jacks take on Fuego at 2 p.m. After the match, you can make the walk to Bank of America to watch Charlotte FC at 7:30 p.m. while stopping at some bars along the way. Austin Pack had to get a good fist on that. That was a dangerous ball in. Austin Pack off to a good start here, and he may be down though. Clutching his chest perhaps, or his right arm, maybe his right forearm. Mentioned that double header on the 23rd. You can stop at some bars along the way. Get your Independence ticket starting at $12. CharlotteIndependence.com. Ball was whipped in here by Bentley. He was looking for Vinyals, I think it was there. Lurking around the edge of the 6-yard box. Made some contact with Austin Pack, who appears to be okay. Yeah, fun double header there on the 23rd. Soccer and beer are always a good combination. See two teams here in the Charlotte area. Charlotte FC not off to the greatest of starts this year in MLS. I didn't see if they played today. Obviously it's a little early with this 5 o'clock start here. Come the Richmond Kickers now. Shout out to the River City Red Army watching at Ardent Craft Ales this evening. A watch party going on there in Virginia. This one swung wide. Bentley knock it back across. This is half-headed it away and hooked away in the end, all the way up to halfway, where Richmond will look to build again. Remember, topped the table with 51 points last year. 5 more than second place. Greenville did the Kickers, but then lost in the semi-finals to Chattanooga. Good work back there by Obaton to dispossess Belmar. Richmond starting to take control here a little bit in the last 5 minutes or so. Lost 21 assists though from last season. Richmond with Bolaños, Bryant and Ritchie all gone. Have to try and find some creativity there. Belmar, more of a goal scorer, said Darren Sawatsky, than Bolaños, than a creator, but Neil Vignal's plenty of ability to work some magic. More of a central guy, obviously, but he can drift out to the wing. This one goes all the way back to Pack. Richmond were only 8th in total shots last season, but led the league with a 21% success rate. Also allowed the second fewest goals with 36. What a season it was for Darren Sawatsky. Unfortunately, came undone in the semi-finals. So he was incredibly proud of what they did last season. He said it's almost more difficult to win this league in the regular season than it is in the playoffs. We have some unfinished business. Really should have had both trophies. He understands that if you're successful, you're going to lose guys. He expects that to be part of the Richmond process. He's selling guys on. It's going to be a free kick here, inside the half. Be a handball. Sawatsky mentioned the fact that they've taken technical control now of the Richmond United youth system, which is going to be their academy basically, looking to produce their own talent. Awesome stuff coming out of Richmond in that regard. That's a lovely through ball. Ball's pulled back. There's Duty in the right place at the right time to knock that one away. We approach the half-hour mark here in Charlotte. Ross Davenport with you. No score between the Independents and the Kickers. As Nathan Orney comes over to take this one. Man from Arlington, Washington. Man, Darren Sawatsky's been following for years, both from the Northwest. Did a ton of their work in the Northwest. That could be a giveaway here, and now here comes Obaton. We know what he could do from this kind of position. It's going to be a foul and a yellow card for, I think that's Hornsby. Stopping that quick transition. It's a good yellow card in the end, as the Independents were streaking down the other way. Mentioned Nathan Orney. Knows Sawatsky from his time with the Sounders U23s. His dad played soccer at Washington. Started the first games, 12 games last year at centre back, then got hurt and lost out to Dakota Bonathan. The rest of the way now with the departure of Jalen Chrysler, they're together at that centre back spot. Bernathan can also play a bit of centre midfield. We asked Darren Sawatsky where his depth is at centre back. It's not apparent. He said Simon Fitch can also play some centre back, as well as a couple of youth guys in Zerbini and Howell. Three shots for the Independents so far, 2 for Richmond. They have the only one on target. 61% possession now for the Kickers. They put the squeeze on here at the last 10 minutes. Johnson won't get that to that one.
Fans, we're just past the 30-minute mark, which means it's time for our halftime.
Richmond won 2 of the 3 matchups between these two teams last season, 2-1 and 4-0. There's also a 1-1 tie. That 2-1 win last year was the first Richmond win over the Independents in 10 tries, dating back to their USL Championship days where these two were rivals. Johnson. Another great bit of play with Obertan. The heavy touch a little out of Johnson's reach, but Obertan gets it back. That's a lovely ball in with the header. And it's right at Fitzgerald. That was Corey Bennett, I think, coming in around the penalty spot there. His look on the Activision LASIK replay. Obertan once again finding space on the right side. Good header by Bennett. I think it was just not enough on it to trouble Akira Fitzgerald. But the first shot on goal for the Jacks. And Dane Kelly, if you're just joining us, Dane Kelly on the bench tonight for Mike Jeffries. Came into camp a little late, so looking to get match fit before he starts. We'll perhaps see him later. Here's Terzaghi now, looking to come back and get involved. You haven't checked out the documentary that the Kickers organization did about Emiliano Terzaghi last season. It's a beautiful piece. Check that out on YouTube. Moran. See Charlotte playing with that low block they've settled into here in the last 15 minutes or so. It's given Richmond possession. They've only converted into that one real chance so far. Maybe another chance for another one here. Belmar lays it off. Vignals with the shot blocked again. And here come the Independents the other way. Mbuyu. Excuse me, that's Bennett. Waiting for support. Finds it. They'll swing it the other way looking for Johnson. Pitching in now. Here's Mbuyu on the right side. Well, that's going to be a foul. Good work again by Hornsby. Poke it away from Mbuyu. Hornsby is impressed so far. As Darren Sawatsky expected him to do. Grab some new gear for the next Independence game with scarves, hats, shirts, and more. We have the merch for every Independence fan. Head over to store.charlotteindependence.com to find your next piece of Jack's gear. Charlotte with a bit of a press here. Let just Richmond bring it out eventually. Omar Sis pushing a little further forward than he's used to. Been played at a particularly high pace this first half. Both teams just looking to work on things. Jeffries mentioned that these opening games, you're really not expected to come out and blow everybody away. Still looking to work on things. Pre-season's difficult because players aren't, they're not looking to get hurt. You've got trialists coming in, just looking where people fit in. Sort of almost an extended preseason these first few games. He said you never know quite what you're going to get. He said they did have one chippy preseason game. He says we know we're not match fit or 100% ready. You just want to see things to point you in the right direction. He said obviously they're feeling a lot more comfortable than they did at this point last year, where the Independence roster was still being put together after they dropped down from the USL Championship, lost most of their roster, obviously due to the financial constraints when you drop down from the Championship to League One. Now you got the likes of Joel Johnson coming back, Dane Kelly coming back. There's one place where the CBA will really help. Duty. Dimmick tonight. See, that was Spielman. Spielman, the man from Melbourne, Florida, a late signing just this week. Comes from Chattanooga FC. And we lost 3 of their 25 games last season. It was almost a key turnover there by Omar Sis. And with the addition of Dunwell, Omar Sis can push a little further forward. Dunwell, again, more of a true 6. Goals so far here, not 8 minutes to go before halftime from American Legion Memorial Stadium. Thanks for joining us. My name's Ross Davenport. Here's Mbuyu now on the left, where he started the game. Slips it through. The pullback, that's a good save by Akira Fitzgerald. That was Clay Dimmick getting further forward than we've seen him all night. Tonight's captain for the Jackson. Akira Fitzgerald had to be quickly off his line. Here's a look on the Activision LASIK replay. That's a lovely ball through into the channel. Fitzgerald had to commit. Had no defensive support with him, Ibarra. There's the delivery from the Chick-fil-A corner. It's a bit of a collision. Chesky had a look at it, but just a goal kick in the end. Bennett was in the vicinity, as was Fitzgerald. Here's a look on the Activision LASIK replay. Bennett got there, but he just couldn't twist his body around to get his head on the right side of the ball. Goes out for that goal kick. Bring the whole group out to the next Jacks game. Watch some good soccer, grab some cold drinks, and take in a match with a view of Uptown Charlotte. Fitzgerald slips over. Fitzgerald, my. Akira. He is known for his good footwork, but his feet let him down there. And then they made up for it. My. That wouldn't have been the way to let in the first goal of the season for the Kickers. But back to group tickets. Email tickets@queencitysc.com or call 980-392-9170 to schedule your next group outing. As Belmar goes down. He's back on his feet now, though. Mbuyu trying to get involved. Gives it up to Hornsby. Hornsby still with it. Pack will just get to that one and keep it in and avoid the corner kick. Well, Akira Fitzgerald mentioned one of the best ball-playing goalkeepers in the history of USL League One, but a little rusty there. Almost got his pocket picked. Mbuyu with those bright pink boots. Hornsby again. Hornsby with 5 tackles now on the evening. It's 3 more than anybody else on the Kickers team, but concerningly, he's down on the ground. He's done a lot of running tonight. Already has Michael Hornsby.
Have back-to-back home games in April. First, Charlotte hosts Union Omaha on Wednesday, April 19th, with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. 3 days later, the Jacks take on Central Valley Fuego Football Club on Saturday, April 22nd, during a matinee match with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m.
Gabriel Obatama gets restarted. Oh, that was a foul throw, surely. Well, is Daniel Chesky going to make him take it again? Chesky's going to say he didn't wait for the whistle. He got away with one there. Did Gabriel Obatama. Almost looked like he tried to stop himself from throwing it in and just dropped it. Obertan back to Johnson. That's a lovely bit of interplay, and Buyu can't control it though. That will be off a Richmond kicker and out for an Independence corner presented by Chick-fil-A. Starting to get back into it here as we draw to a close in this first half. From North Carolina, Ibarra coming over to take this one. And he will go short and get it back. Ibarra with the right-footed ball in, headed away by Belmar. And look, it came off his shoulder or an upper arm. The Charlotte Independence players are screaming for a handball. They're not going to get it. No VAR here in USL League One. It was the 5th corner of the evening for the Jacks. Sis back to Dunwell. Just one shot on target for each team so far. Obertan. Showing that strength to shrug Hornsby off. Can't find Bennett though. Richmond will come away with it now, perhaps with a chance to transition. It's going to be a foul on Shalom Duty. Perhaps lucky here not to get away with a card. And so Daniel Chesky will be pulling the card out, and Shalom Duty finds his way into the book. Joins Michael Hornsby and Zaka Moran, first one of the night for the Independents. Here's a look at that potential handball inside the box. Was headed back in. Wow. Not sure if Daniel Chesky had a look at it, but look at really blatant sort of arm swing at that ball, but got away with it. Again, Hornsby, Moran, and now Duty in the book. Couple minutes left here in the first half from Charlotte. No goals between two of the more potent offenses last season in USL League One. Good tackle there by Johnson. Dunwell gets the transition going now. Here's Bennett. Looking to twist and turn Hornsby. There's Hornsby once again. Bennett wins out though. Obertan. Dunwell doesn't score many goals. Johnson swings it in. Looking for Mbuyu. The first time strike by Ibarra is right at Akira Fitzgerald, but that's the second shot on goal for the home team. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club's on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN Plus, the home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Stats are pretty close as we approach the half here. XG 0.21 for Charlotte, 0.18 for Richmond. 4 shots for the Jacks. Make that 5, excuse me. 3 for Richmond. Possession in favor of the kickers, 57% to 43. Mike Jeffries retrieves that one. Mike Jeffries went to Dukes. He will not be too happy at the second round result in the basketball earlier today. As the Duke Blue Devils lost to the Tennessee Volunteers in the second round of the NCAA tournament earlier by 13 points. Obertan with the turn. It's given away. Richmond now with a chance to break, perhaps. Hearing we will have 3 minutes of stoppage time. Vinyalt. Got Belmar overlapping. Darren Skwatsky bouncing up and down. He wanted perhaps a quicker decision. As that ball goes out of play. Off the foot of Simon Fitch. We haven't mentioned him much tonight. Capable of playing left and right back for the kickers.
There'll be an additional 3 minutes of extra time. 3 minutes of
Darren Skwatsky lost Stephen Payne and Stuart Ritchie, who started most of his games at fullbacks at the fullback spot last year. Belmar in acres of space. Carlton Belmar. He's got Tazaki ahead of him. Jacks get back well though on transition. Well, that's good work there by Clay Dimmick. Now the Independents with a chance to turn defense into offense. Sis. Dimmick, and there's confirmation of those 3 minutes of stoppage time. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Ball swung in. Joel Johnson coming all the way from his right back spot. Couldn't direct his header goalward though. You can be at every home Independence game for just $5 a game. Be there every step of the way in 23 as the Jacks go for another playoff appearance. Email tickets at queencitysc.com or call 980-392-9170 to get your seats locked in. One last chance here perhaps for the kickers. Hornsby. Neal. Vigneault. Zaka Moran. One of these teams tonight have sort of got to the edge of the final third and then sort of hit an invisible wall at times. Just over a minute remaining here in the first half from Charlotte. Can either team here find a late scoring chance to perhaps change both coaches' team talks? Orney. Richmond trying to unlock this Independence defense. Ball's cleared away. Obertan with a chance to chase, and he does. Obertan. He's got two kickers defenders to beat. He's got Corey Bennett on the run. Bennett into the edge of the box. And that's poor in the end from Corey Bennett. Should have done better. That should take us to the break. Lovely ball through to Bennett. Hornsby was there. Bennett perhaps should have turned back inside.
Fans, it's officially halftime. The score.
And that is the halftime whistle by referee Daniel Chesky.
There's 15 minutes on the clock.
No goals between the visiting Richmond Kickers and the Charlotte Independents. Gabriel Obertan with a busy first half, but no goals to show for it. Great work to show for it though by the TIFO folks. We'll be back here with you at halftime with halftime highlights, etc. News and notes from around League One and more. So stick with us. We'll be right back with our halftime proceedings from American Legion Memorial Stadium. Charlotte 0, Richmond 0. USL League One on ESPN+.
Pushing further. Achieving remarkable.
What we got there?
At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Hello there, my name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is that punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is every single time you take a bite, you know you're gonna get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. The Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches. There's no touching it.
Stand up, Independence fans. Take a break from squinting to see that tiny soccer ball bounce around that big field. Now take off your glasses, rub your eyes, put some eye drops on your contact lenses, or let my friends at AccuVision LASIK help you get that 20/20 vision you need to see the match in high def. Mention Independence and get $1,000 off LASIK. Go get the details right now at AccuVisionLASIK.com. That's AccuVisionLASIK.com.
What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great clips. It's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good is when your haircut costs less. Great is when it still meets high standards. At Great Clips, you'll always get the haircut you want for less. And with our easy online check-in app, you'll save time too. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Welcome back to halftime here in Charlotte between the Independents and the Kickers from American Legion Memorial Stadium. Well, we have two new teams in the league this season. That's easy to remember. But what about all the player incomings and outgoings? Let's take a look around all 12 teams. Chattanooga Red Wolves mostly talked about this offseason for the departures after their runner-up finish this season, but some critical signings there. Manuel Madrid from USL Championship, as well as Christian Enriquez from Madison. They'll join this man, Mo Espinoza. Some great finishes for him last season. See if Chattanooga can return to the championship game with almost an entirely new squad. As for these Charlotte Independents, lots of returners, lots of offense. Gabriel Obertan played for Manchester United. Miguel Ibarra, tons of MLS experience. Bennett and Buyu, and then add the USL Championships all-time leading scorer, Dane Kelly, to that list. See if anybody can stop that potent Charlotte offense. They get some help on defense too with Joel Johnson. As for the Fuego, disappointing season last year, up and down. Viljan Bijev, just the 5 goals last season, including this late one last year to tie the Jacks. Opek Antman returns in goal. That's a key returnee, and a big addition in the middle of the center of midfield. Jose Carrera Garcia from the Red Wolves. He was really the engine that drove that Chattanooga choo-choo midfield. As for the Triumph, disappointing finish to the season last year, but they get Jacob Labovitz back. Alan Gavilanes, Evan Lee, Benton Evans, the core, the spine of this team returns. They had Devin Boyce, the former Union Omaha champion. Greenville expected by many to be one of the contenders for the title again this season. One Knoxville, one of the new teams coming in. Ilya Illich, 100+ appearances in the USL Championship for Louisville, amongst other teams. Jordan Scout, a nice defensive addition. They're certainly perhaps one of the one new team expected to contend for a playoff spot. Lexington, we'll get to them in a little bit. Knoxville obviously had plenty of success at the League Two level. And here we are, do have Lexington, picked by many so-called experts to finish towards the bottom of the league this season. Don Smart with the assist here. He's a veteran presence. Will slip into that midfield nicely. Kalen Fox, a great defender at the back. We'll have to see how Lexington do. Exciting times, though, in Kentucky for the new team. As for forward, Madison had a few coaches. They haven't had too many playoff appearances, though, but they bring in Christian Cheney to try and help this man, Nazim Bartman, with the offense. Timmy Mel comes in from Chattanooga. Stephen Payne, a nice little addition at the fullback spot for Matt Glazer, as the Flamingos try to get their seasons going, we'll say. North Carolina FC got their season off to a start last night. Unfortunately, it was a losing one. They return this man, Garrett McLaughlin. Add Rafa Menzigan, among others, probably the most exciting offseason of any team in League One heading into 2023, but no points on the board yet after their opener last night. We'll see how long it takes them to get going. As for Northern Colorado, just missed out on a playoff spot last year. Arthur Rogers, what a season this man had. The man from England, crosses, set pieces, he was delivering everything from the wings for Northern Colorado. Irvin Power returns, as well as Johan Peñaranda, who certainly clinched that goalkeeping spot for himself. Last year's Supporters Shield winners, Emiliano Terzioghi, back again, looking for another Golden Boot title, joined by Akira Fitzgerald between the net. They do lose Jonathan Bolaños, but will Carlton Belmar bring his championship experience onto that wing and fill his boots nicely. And now to the defending champs, Keziah Sterling. He's back for another shot, the former Tottenham man, along with Kingsford RJ and Mateus Cassini. Don't forget Macaulay Akala. He opened his account last night in the 1-0 win over North Carolina. South Georgia Tormentors should expect to contend again. And the number 1 team in our power rankings, Union Omaha. Noe Meza was one of the bright spots on offense last season. New coach, a lot of new players, but some key returners here. Rashid Nuhu. Everybody always thought he'd go to another league higher up, but he stuck around in Omaha. And that JP Skeers, he's back as well. Let's go to break here in Charlotte. You're watching the Kickers and the Independents on ESPN+.
For over 75 years, we've witnessed moments that will last forever. Records and trophies, firsts and onlys, game-changing innovations. From the heroes we admire to the joy of watching them play. Our history defines us, inspires us, and pushes us into the future. Celebrating 75 years of changing the game. Puma, forever faster.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Halftime here in Charlotte, but we opened the 2023 League One season last night with a game between NCFC and defending champions South Georgia Torment. NCFC with 63% possession in the game, but it was Makwele Akali with the only goal of the night. John Murphy with a lovely pass to split the offside trap, and Akali with the calm left-footed finish inside the far post as the defending champs get off to the best possible start to their campaign. Let's take a look at some news and notes around League One. We're back 5th season here in USL League One. Hopefully you've been here for all 5. If not, you can always go back and catch up the highlights on YouTube. The final will be on ESPN2, all matches on ESPN+. 2 new teams. We did lose FC Tucson, but we have 2 new teams coming in to even us out at 12 in one Knoxville and Lexington SC. And 192 matches, the most we've had in any of our 5 seasons this year. Let's take a look at one great thing for the players coming in this year is the new collective bargaining agreement they came to with the USL League One. Minimum 2K monthly salary, a 10-month player contract minimum, standardized grievance process, as well as flexibility for family leave events like births, deaths, etc. Great news for all of the players in USL League One. There is one more match tonight. That's between the 2 brand new teams, Knoxville and Lexington. You can tune in right after this one on ESPN+, and then a bunch of matches next week. Greenville, Richmond, always a great matchup. Northern Colorado obviously always starting the season on the road. We'll be right back here with the second half between Charlotte and Richmond on ESPN+.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
When it comes to delivering high quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, we're proud of the relationships we've built with you, North Carolina. We're collaborating with leaders like Vici, supporting her efforts to help schools address the mental health needs of students, and foster care moms like Gail, working with her to ensure our state's most vulnerable children are thriving, and caregivers like Maya, partnering with her to improve maternal health. From lowering costs to building healthier communities, we are committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is not your typical health insurer. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family working hard to make healthcare affordable, easier to navigate, and accessible for all. North Carolina is our home. We're here for you, all of you.
Hello there, my name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is that punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is every single time you take a bite, you know you're gonna get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. The Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches. There's no touching it.
Halftime here between the Independents and the Kickers. No goals at the break. Let's take a look at how we got there. There were a handful of scoring chances excuse me, in those first 45 minutes. Austin Pack with perhaps the best save. Cheers. Go ahead. Goal of highlights brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Michael Hornsby, he was a busy man down that left side, but this was Neil Vinyals skipping into the box around 2 or 3 players. That was the best save of the half by Austin Pack. Spent most of last season on the bench here in the Independents behind Adrian Zendejas, but showing what he can do here. Austin Pack early, the 29-year-old. Richmond had the better of the middle of the first half, but then Charlotte started to work their way back into it at the end here. This was headed by Corey Bennett right at Akira Fitzgerald. That was in the 33rd minute. Gabriel Oberton was a busy man down that right side all half. We'll see how much he has left in those legs. This was perhaps the best chance for the Independents. A slip by Akira Fitzgerald. He's lucky that ball didn't bounce further away from him and right to the feet of Gabriel Oberton. Not a shot on goal. Not what we're not used to see from Akira Fitzgerald. Just lost his footing with that plant foot, but recovered and claimed. Here are your halftime stats. 7 shots for the Jacks, 3 for the Kickers, 4 total on goal, and 3 yellow cards to keep an eye on in the second 45. Those halftime stats presented by Chick-fil-A. Nearly ready to go here in the second half from American Legion Memorial Stadium. Emiliano Terzaghi on the ball. We'll let you know of any changes for either side. Terzaghi with a relatively quiet first half. Zero shots for Terzaghi. That's not something you normally see. Had a goal in the opener last season. He's actually scored in the opening 2 games last season, and 3 of the first 4, but then he only had 2 goals in his next 9 games. But his longest goal drought last season was only 3 games. That happened twice. And we're underway here in the second half from Charlotte. See if either team can open the scoring here. Thanks for joining us wherever you may be watching around the country or the world. Don't forget to stick around for the late game tonight, 7 p.m. Knoxville against Lexington, the 2 newcomers to USL League One. The shadows starting to creep in here at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Terzaghi. Morny. Simon Fitch on this right side. Morny goes long. Looking for Carlton Belmar. Done well to Sis. That was a bit hopeful more than anything from Sis. No subs at the half for either team. Might see them a little earlier than we normally do here, being the first game of the season. Not sure how many of these guys went 90 minutes during the preseason. Perhaps some of them towards the end. Next 3 games on the road for Charlotte, and they're tough ones. At Tormenta, at Richmond, and at retooled NCFC. Difficult start for the Independents. And of course, US Open Cup coming up in a couple of weeks. The Independents will host the winner of Appalachian FC and North Carolina Fusion U23s. That'll be on Wednesday, April 5th. Meanwhile, the Kickers will host the winner of Cleveland SC and Lionsbridge out of Newport News, Virginia. That game will be Thursday, April the 6th. Kickers also have a relatively difficult start to the season. We'll get to that in a second. Assist, trying to create something here. Good work from Bentley. That's a nice tackle. And a chance for Mbuyu to do something with it here down the left wing, and he does. And Mbuyu gets around his defender. Mbuyu smacks it off the Kickers defender. And he will escape this time. Ibarra. Done well, out to Dimmick. Kickers will travel to play Greenville next weekend. And then we'll be back here against the Independents, and then we'll host NOCO on the 15th of April. We'll have a week off. A weekend off, I should say, on the 8th. That's after the US Open Cup match. Nice little 1-2 here. That ball's in. Nobody's there at the back post, though. Matt Bentley, he spent a lot of time on defense tonight as he's bundled into by Clay Dimmick. That'll be a free kick for Richmond. Mentioned the bench. Dane Kelly on the bench for the Independents, along with a couple of other new signings, and Luis Alvarez and Bashir and D8, as well as Avion Flanagan, late signing this week. So some offensive options on the bench for Mike Jeffries. As for the Kickers, again, missing Ethan Vanacore-Decker and David Olsen tonight. We do have João Gamero. He's got a ton of potential. Start in League Two. Jake Meekham, the rookie out of University of Denver and UNLV. Oh, Wayne Gordon. Some offensive weapons on the bench for either side. We'll see who flinches first as we go through the second half here, as a foul as Terzaghi goes down. Soccer doubleheader like you've never seen before. Saturday, April 23rd, watch the Jacks take on Central Valley Fuego at 2 p.m. And after the match, you can make the walk to Bank of America Stadium to watch Charlotte FC at 7:30. Stop at some bars along the way. Make for an unforgettable doubleheader experience. Get your Independence tickets starting at only $12 at charlotteindependence.com. Belmar, he is offside. That might be our first offside of the match. It was. Neither team really getting on that back shoulder. 5 minutes here into the second half from Charlotte. Ross Davenport with you. Thanks for joining us. Austin Pack here, clearing it away. I mistakenly said he had one start last year. That was Noah Abrams, the backup keeper today, who had the one start last year for Charlotte. Pack started with Hartford and then came over and backed up Adrian Zendejas the second half of the season. Zendejas, big loss. He was superb after coming in and settling down after his loan move. The delightful ball through, looking for Belmar. Spielman had to be careful. It's going to be a foul on Bentley, perhaps. Each team just lacking a bit of cutting edge in the final third so far tonight, as you'd expect in the first game of the season. Here's a look on the Activision LASIK replay. Headed away. Dimmick was being a little lazy and then got shoved in the back and accidentally clipped by Bentley. We've seen harder bits of contact, but certainly a foul. That's a foul, says somebody, and Daniel Chesky agrees. Morning. Hadn't had a ton to do at the back today. This Kickers centre-back pairing of Orney and Barnathan. That may change if Dane Kelly comes on later. Not sure exactly the status of his fitness on the bench. What an addition. Obviously Mike Jeffries familiar with him from his previous time with Charlotte. He said he weighed a bunch of different options this season, did Dane Kelly. Might take a while to get him integrated, but a big plus to get a guy with a big impact he could have. He said he's a true 9. Mike Jeffries sort of tinkered with 1 up top, 2 up top last season. But he said Dane Kelly's the man in the box. He said we'll put guys either side of him, Bennett, Oberton, Ibarra. Oberton played some 9 last year, but Dane Kelly will be that central guy this season, 32-year-old. Some of you may remember Charlotte's opening game last season, a 3-3 draw with Central Valley Fuego. A crazy game-tying goal by Bijev. A few goals quickly here if we're going to match the total of 6. Here's Joel Johnson, not going to be able to keep that one in. Takes out his frustration on the corner flag, which bounces back quickly. Be a throw in here for Charlotte as more and more of this pitch gets into the shade. That may help me with these silver numbers. Hornsby. Play it back all the way to Kira Fitzgerald. No slip this time from the veteran. That's a good heading, good aerial duel win by Clay Dimmick. If you're looking for a little Greek, a little Southern and always fresh, enjoy a great meal at your local Showmars. Darren Sawatsky hoping that sun goes down soon. Covering his eyes. No sunglasses for Mr. Sawatsky. Charlotte brought back 9 of their top 11, brought back their top 9 minutes outfield guys this year that were permanent signings last year, not counting the loanees. So a good chunk returning for them. Again, it was the defense that was the problem. Johnson and Dunwell expected to help out in that regard, and they have so far tonight, but here's Terzaghi looking to turn. That's great work by Spielman. Just stood his ground. These two teams will meet again in a couple of weeks in Richmond. I'm sure we'll see those red night kits that Richmond unveiled this week. A combination of the red and black. Here's Hornsby now, slips inside for Belmar. Spielman's there, but Belmar regains control. Hornsby gets the cross in, but it hits the side netting. Once again, that final ball just a little lacking. Vision LASIK replay. Nice ball in for Belmar. Got on the right side of Spielman. He was then double teamed. See what Hornsby was trying to do, just couldn't get his left foot around it enough to cause any trouble in that Charlotte box. Some key losses for Charlotte. Mentioned they maintained the core of the team. Lost Ilya Shevtsov, Will Vin. We mentioned Adrian Zedehas. That's a big one. As well as Koa Santos and those other loanees from Charlotte FC. That's poor there. From Simon Fitch. Seven shots for the Independents now, more than twice the 3 of Richmond. Here's a chance now, perhaps, though. Terzaghi was hooked. But he was offside in the first place. Shalom Duty got his arm around the midriff. You could tell Terzaghi felt it. Perhaps went to the ground a little too easily, but didn't matter. The offside flag was up. And as you can see there at the bottom of the screen, Dane Kelly is about to make his entrance. Mbuyu, double teamed. Slips the head for Dimmick. Clay Dimmick in the box. Lays it off. Corey Bennett! Saved by a Fitzgerald at his near post. That's the best chance of the match for either team. Bennett was left wide open on the back post. Maybe Dane Kelly would have put that one away. Perhaps could have come across, but tried to beat Kieran Fitzgerald near post. The veteran made the save. Chick-fil-A corner kick now. Miguel Ibarra to take it. We're not going to get that Dane Kelly substitution just yet. There's a delivery. Far post. Dimmick is there. Gets a good head on it. Cleared away by Richmond. Only as far as Joel Johnson. Dimmick. Mbuyu tries to get that ball back across, but he will earn a corner. Charlotte putting some pressure on here. Looking for that opening goal at home. Daniel Chesky not letting Ibarra take the corner just yet. We're going to have that substitution now. Looks like it may be Miguel Ibarra making way for Dane Kelly. Oh, there's two Jacks coming across here. We'll have two substitutions. It's both new attackers coming on. Luis Alvarez and Dane Kelly as Corey Bennett and Miguel Ibarra make way. There he is, the leading scorer in USL Championship history. And it's not even close, 110 goals. Corey Herzog second with 82. Ball in from Johnson. Good claim by the not tallest goalkeeper in the world. Kieran Fitzgerald did well there. Not the best delivery though. So Dane Kelly enters, 32-year-old from Jamaica. He only had 11 starts for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds last year. He wasn't even in the squad for 5 of their last 7 games. He did have a nice finish to the season goal-wise when he did play, but we'll get to that in a second. Here's Luis Alvarez. Ball in over Mbuyu's head. Things have come to life here with those substitutions. Luis Alvarez, the 20-year-old from Honduras. Mike Jeffries described him as a young, technical, up-and-coming player. Wonderful feet. 18 appearances in the Honduran top league, Liga Nacional, last season. He's actually been in camp with the Honduras U20s. They will play in the World Cup later this year. The draw for that will be held later this month. Down goes Dimmick. Sawatsky disagrees with the decision. So Dane Kelly, as you can see, going central. Luis Alvarez will probably slip in a little centrally, more than Ibarra. Obaton now on the left. Mbuyu perhaps will go a little wider. Daniel Chesky was perhaps, I thought, going to have a word with Darren Sawatsky, but she's just going to reposition the ball for this free kick. Can't miss Luis Alvarez with his shock of blonde hair. Encouraging his teammates to get in the box. Alvarez goes left. Mbuyu with a good turn. Good block by Bentley though. Asking where his help was. It will be a Chick-fil-A corner kick. Alvarez will take it. Decent delivery, headed away from the edge of the box. Johnson retrieves it. Back out to Alvarez. Puts it back into the mixer. Another good cross, maybe a little too much height on it. Hornsby, well, I thought he was just going to clear it down the field, but instead shanks it out before I throw. Charlotte with great possession here in this Richmond final third over the last few minutes. Trying to turn it into a goal. Dimmick looking to get a couple of extra yards down the touchline. It does. Alvarez been busy since coming on. Kelly dispossessed and then gives it right back to Dunwell. Charlotte camping out now in this Richmond half. Spielman, Alvarez, well, he thought about getting it, left it for Johnson. Now back to Alvarez. It's beautiful. Back heel to Oberton. Pulls back the cross. Dane Kelly's there. Barnathan did enough. Booyah. He's got those fancy feet. It's good work in the end. Nice Simon Fitch. I think that is at the right back spot. And it will go out for another corner kick presented by Chick-fil-A. Charlotte, they're much better of the team here in the last 5 to 10 minutes. This is back to Alvarez. Goes back post. Finds ahead of Spielman. Cross comes in looking for duty. Cleared away. Sis will retrieve. Lay it off to Dunwell. Oberton, that's a nice ball for Mbuyu. Slips, not the first time somebody slipped on this surface today. Matt Bentley, who's done the best of his work tonight on the defensive end. Not what Darren Sawatzki wants to see. Oberton. No foul there. Went down far too easily, and now here come Richmond with a chance to relieve some pressure. If you're traveling to Charlotte to see an Independence game, make sure you stay at the Hyatt Place downtown. The Hyatt Place is just minutes away from the stadium and is around countless dining options. Hyatt Place downtown, the official hotel of the Charlotte Independence. Fitch infield, Orney going long, looking for Bentley. Dimmick with a shove, got away with it, and it will be a Charlotte throw. Dimmick, the man from Atlanta, spent some time in Serbia as well as Australia. Charlotte since 2019, one of the holdovers from their championship days. Paco Craig leads Miami FC into Kentucky to face Josh Winder and the reigning Eastern Conference winners Louisville City FC. Don't miss the start of the new season of the USL on ESPN Saturday, May 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Here come Richmond. Fitch with some room. Bentley on the overlap. His first touch let him down a little bit. Sent him wide, but it was a good cross in. Finally headed away by Dimmick. Then of a miscommunication. Dane Kelly almost takes advantage. Now we'll regain possession. No changes yet for the kickers. Mentioned a little short with no Vanacore, Decker, or Olsen. Bentley loses possession. Dimmick. That'll be a foul on Bentley. Kickers seem to have weathered the storm here, though, as we approach the halfway mark in this second half. Still haven't managed to create much going the other way, though. Still just the one shot on target for the visitors, 4 for the Independents. Richmond with the edge in possession, though, 58.5%. Here's Luis Alvarez, looking dangerous again. Obertan. That's poor from the former Man U man. Alex Ferguson would have given him the hairdryer treatment for that pass. It would be a free kick for the Kickers. Obertan, 71 Premier League appearances, 14 in the Champions League. Originally with Charlotte in 2021, didn't join them initially for their trip to USL League One last season, but then came along. He's married to an American, loves it in Charlotte. Hearing, you may be seeing some Richmond Kickers substitutions coming up here in a second. You may see the debut of Joao Gomero, as well as the entrance of Wayne Gordon. When you need to rehydrate after a workout, run, or a soccer game, trust Gatorade. Gatorade keeps the Independents game ready all the time, so they're always ready to take the field. And now it looks like we will have those substitutions. Play Dimick will hold on to the ball here, and there we do indeed see Wayne Gordon, as well as Joao Gomero. Spent last season with the North Carolina Fusion U23, actually scored in the Cup win over the Independents. This is why these US Open Cup games are so important. You're always on trial, basically saying, hey, come sign me, this is what I can do, and that's exactly what Gomero did, as Wayne Gordon enters the field, a 31-year-old from Jamaica, signed in May last season. 18 caps for Jamaica. Making way are Carlton Belmar, as well as Matt Bentley.
And number 8, Joao Gomero.
Here come the Independents. Excuse me, Alvarez now. Johnson on the outside. Back heels it to him. Johnson with a decent pull in. Oh, he almost slipped again. Managed to regain his composure. And here's Terzaghi now. Emiliano Terzaghi. Looked up to see if the keeper was on his line, and he was. And eventually loses out, and Austin Pack will claim. Charlotte managed to snuff out the danger there. Terzaghi has been held in check for sure tonight. We asked Mike Jeffries about how you defend him. He said it's almost impossible. His movement in the box just superior to anybody else in League One. Luckily for him tonight, Richmond really haven't had much possession around the box. Only 9 touches in the opponent's box so far tonight for the Kickers. And Alvarez with the ball in, that's straight up in the air off Barnathan. He eventually clears it away, but only as far as Mbuyu. Mbuyu goes down, but no call from Daniel Chesky. And now here come the Kickers. Wayne Gordon sprinting down the right side. He's got Terzaghi inside of him, and he just decided to go straight instead at Nick Spielman. Instead of taking it to his right or passing it to his left, he went right at him, and disappointing there from Wayne Gordon. Just under 20 minutes remaining in this one. From Charlotte, Ross Davenport with you. No score between the Independents and the Kickers. 2 of the more potent offenses last year, but haven't got it going so far yet in 2023. Obviously very early. Grab some new gear for the next Independents game with scarves, hats, shirts, and more. Merch for every Independents fan at store.charlotteindependents.com. Find your next piece of Jack's gear. Barnathan. Another slip. And here come the Jacks. Mbuyu lays it off for Dunwell. Obertan. Don't give him too much space. And they didn't. Good work. Sis now. Johnson. Out wide to Alvarez. Johnson now lays it off for Dunwell. Sis with his back to goal. Now Obertan. Alvarez looking to take on Hornsby. Instead we'll just lay it back to the veteran, Sis. Alvarez and Obertan, nice little 1-2. Falls to the feet of Omar Sis. Will he shoot? No, he'll try to lay it back. It falls to Jed Dunwell, deflected. And into the grateful arms of Akira Fitzgerald. Both teams getting a little more steady possession in the final third. Here's another look on the Activision LASIK replay. Alvarez and Obertan. Obertan's been involved in so much tonight as the veteran. So much quality stuff, but quality chances have still been a little limited. See if they count that as a shot on target. I assume they will. That's the 5th for Charlotte. It's Akira Fitzgerald now in front of his own goal. Barnathan. Here, there may be a Charlotte sub coming in here in a second. So we may see the new man, Bashir Ndiaye, from Senegal. And it will be an offensive style sub. We'll get to that in a second. Mike Jeffries wants to try and win this home opener. Good tackle there. Good interception by Mbuyu, and that will allow this substitution to happen. Bashir Ndiaye, excuse me, out of UNC Wilmington. He will replace Brad Dunwell, so defensive midfielder coming off for more of a center midfielder. 47th pick in the 2023 draft by Inter Miami, was not signed. Like Jeffrey said, he's a physical center mid, a very capable ball winner, clever passing ideas, the ability to break down defenses on the dribble. We'll see if he can make an immediate impact here. With just over 15 minutes left from Charlotte. It's the 3rd substitution for Charlotte. Richmond looking to come forward. Daniel Chesky going straight to the pocket. And that's Justin Suko. Yes, he is playing today, Justin Suko. He hasn't had much of an impact. Maybe the 2nd time I've called his name. Giveaway, and then the clumsy tackle on Ndiaye.
Has issued an 11 legs blowing yellow card to Richmond's number 19, Justin Sukow. In the 75th minute of play, yellow card to Richmond's number 19, Justin Sukow.
Ndiaye just came onto the pitch, and now he's on the pitch, literally. He's getting some attention to his face, perhaps. A bit of blood. Ndiaye, no goals, 2 assists for UNCW last season. Did have 6 goals his freshman year at Lewisburg. Didn't score a goal in his last 3 years at UNC Wilmington, but clearly Inter Miami saw enough to draft him with the 47th pick.
Get on your feet.
Fans, chilly out there.
The People's Market fan cam is on the video board, and we're looking for tonight's rowdiest bunch of Jacks fans.
Gave away free mini balls tonight for the first 200 fans. And we'll restart here with a free kick 10 yards into the Charlotte half. Still had a couple of minutes on to the end of this one. Charlotte have attempted the last 5 shots in this game. The last shot taken by the kickers was back in the 34th minute by Neil Vignoles. As this ball comes in to Dane Kelly, asks for the handball, doesn't get it. Almost caught the kickers napping there. Dane Kelly, too much space for Darren Sawatsky's liking, I'm sure, as this one will be shepherded out by Dakota Bonnerthan. And it will be a goal kick. Here's a look at the replay, brought to you by Activision LASIK. Snapshot, yeah, clearly just hits only in the midriff. Worth a shout, though. Richmond are going to try and play this one out the back. You see the wind picking up a little bit, on his shirt blowing around. As he goes long and direct, looking for Terzaghi. It's over his head. Spielman will knock it back into the danger area. Here comes Ndiaye now. Wide to Alvarez, in some space. Gonna have a go from there, is Luis Alvarez. Bit of an audacious attempt. Well, listen, we saw an audacious attempt by Omar Assis that ended up as goal of the year last year, so worth a shot there by the man from Honduras. Certainly active, Luis Alvarez, no doubt about that. He's been wanting to get involved since coming on. He's done that. Obertan. Work by Hornsby. Might have been the brightest spot for Richmond tonight has Michael Hornsby, but Darren Sawatzki will have expected that. Now here come the kickers. Obertan now. Sis. Ndiaye. Now Dimmick in the sunshine. The waning sunshine here at American Legion Memorial. Back to Duty. Shalom Duty had 3 goals last season. Alvarez flips it in looking for Dane Kelly. Arnatham was looking for the free kick, was never going to get it. Good work by Kelly. Hustling. Johnson gets it back from Kelly. Dane Kelly gets the cross in, deflected. That was difficult. It was a spinning ball for Kieran Fitzgerald, but he made the safe claim. So look at that one on the Activision LASIK replay. Dane Kelly just looking to get it into the danger zone. That one could have gone absolutely anywhere. A Richmond kicker player down. Might be Wayne Gordon with a head collision. Chesky's going to call the trainer on. Terzaghi, I think I said earlier that Kieran Fitzgerald is the captain tonight, but it's the Golden Boot winner, Emiliano Terzaghi. The man, 30-year-old from Argentina, played his youth with Banfield. 45 career League One goals in 73 games, including the playoffs. 10 goals back in 2020, 18 goals in 2021, and 17 last year. Back-to-back Golden Boots. Some fans trying to find the last bit of remaining sun. Stay warm for these final just under 10 minutes remaining here in Charlotte. No goals between the Jacks and the kickers as Wayne Gordon gets back to his feet. Seems to be okay. Former Austin Bold, OKC Energy, San Antonio FC in the 11 man. One of the many quality attacking Jamaicans in this league.
One headset is dead. One headset is dead.
They get back underway here with a drop ball. Still just the 2 subs made by Darren Sawatzki. Gordon and Gamero in for Belmar and Bentley, so still some options for Darren. But we mentioned not a ton of attacking options left with the loss of Ethan Vanacore-Decker and David Olsen to injury before this one. There certainly would have been 2 good options for Sawatzki to reach to. Chandler O'Dwyer on the bench, somebody we didn't see a lot of last season. in the squad 9 times, had 2 sub appearances, but retained by the kickers. Charlotte clear this one out over Alvarez. Obertan still in there. 34 years old. Also spent some time with Wigan as well as Bordeaux. There's a PSG youth as that one's just out the reach of Dane Kelly. Johnson had a bright first 30 minutes, but hasn't been involved too much since then. But his adventures up the field have kept the kickers pinned back a little bit. They haven't been able to stretch their legs on that side as much either with Hornsby. Kind of cancelled each other out, those 2 fullbacks. It will be a Richmond throw though. Bring the whole group out to the next Jacks game. Watch some good soccer, grab some cold drinks, and take in a match with a view of Uptown Charlotte. Email tickets at queencitysc.com or call 980-392-9170 to schedule your next group outing. See a group of young soccer players in the corner there. It's good to see the youth players out here, seeing what they could potentially see their career doing. Playing some professional ball down the road. Fitzgerald. Moran. Time with the pressure. Gordon's first touch lets him down and does go out for a throw. Neither of these teams find a bit of late magic to pull 3 points out. There's Dane Kelly over the top. Kelly onto his left foot. Oh, it's a great block. Dakota Barnathan. Obertan, 20 yards out, another block. Worked by that kicker's back line. Just getting in between the ball and Akira Fitzgerald. Day, he's going to be called for the tackle from behind. He's a lanky figure, isn't Day? Certainly got the physical size to play at this level. Here's another replay. Dane Kelly got behind where he's most dangerous. That was a lovely block by Barnathan. And then Mbuyu laid it back to Obertan, and this time it was Orni in the way.
You're hot. Okay. Hey, come on, take the ball.
Day. Played back in by Richmond. Flicked on by Sis. Alvarez now into the right channel. Tries to pull it back for Kelly. Now that's going to be a free kick. He earned that one. It's a questionable decision. Barnathan, excuse me, that was Gamero. Just the wrong side of Kelly. Let's take another look at it here on the Activision LASIK replay. Alvarez cut back inside. Kelly was just drifting into space. Oof. That's a harsh decision for Gamero. I thought he had position on Kelly. Now, certainly the most dangerous free kick of the evening, and it comes with under 5 minutes remaining. Alvarez grabbed the ball and wanted it. Johnson is there. This is Obertan. And Duty. We're going to have a little discussion here, a little huddle. Led by Gabriel Obertan. You have to fancy Obertan this one. Alvarez, it looks ready though. But it will be Duty. Hits the wall after all that. It's going to be offside. It looks like. I didn't see the official's flag up on the far side, but Daniel Chesky put her hand up. It will be a free kick for Richmond. That was a bit of a disappointing delivery after all those deliberations. Omar Sis. It was Duty that took it though. After the step over. And after all that, we remain 0-0. Referee Chesky wants Kira Fitzgerald to take this free kick from the right spot. 9 shots for the Jacks, 3 for the kickers. Still just the 1 on goal for the kickers. That good early save by Austin Pack down low to his right. 25 touches in the opposition box for the Independents, only 9 for the kickers. It's been a tame offensive output for the visitors. It's Duty who took that free kick. Not too often you see your centre back taking free kicks. Maybe a full back, wherever he decides. Seems to be moving around a lot tonight. Sometimes he's at centre back, sometimes he's at full back. They like to push those full backs so far forward. Leaving 3 at the back. Alvarez. Oberton. Going to earn himself a throw. This one's got some spin on it. Falls to Mbuyu. Back to Kelly. Tried to cut back inside. Kelly still with it. Dane Kelly with a chance to be the hero. No. Blocked again. Yeah, Clay Dimmick and Mbuyu open to his left. Didn't find them though, and the kickers survive. You can see what Dane Kelly brings to the lineup. That was a nasty spin on that ball, and Mbuyu read it beautifully. It's a good foot in there in the end by Simon Fitch that knocked it away from Kelly's path. 90 seconds remaining in the 90 here. We'll certainly have at least, I think, 3 or 4 additional stoppage minutes at the end of this one. A couple of injuries here in this second half. Zaka Moran, he's going long. You expect Pack to be there, and he is. Claims just a yard inside his box. Chesky wants those yards back, and of course then Simon Fitch proceeds to get 3 or 4 more back. The usual story when it comes to these throw-ins. Day clears downfield. Will be out of play as we hit stoppage time here in Charlotte. 4 minutes of additional stoppage time we will get here at the end of this second half, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Terzaghi battling with Mbuyu. Mbuyu wins that one, but it will be a throw for the kickers. Fitch will take it. Goes down the line looking for Gordon. Battling there with Duty. Gordon, such a strong physical specimen. Here comes the ball in. Assist with the header away, but not far enough. And eventually cleared by Spielman. Barnathan, he's had a good game tonight, has Dakota. Obertan.
Fans were closing in on the final whistle. Tonight's save of the game is earned by Charlotte Independence goalkeeper Austin Pack with his save in the 22nd minute.
Mbuyu. Obertan now. Double teamed over here by Richmond. Obertan splits it. It goes down. No call from Chesky. She had a good look at it. And decides on a goal kick. Obertan has that wry look at Danielle Chesky. I think everybody knew what he was trying to do. Went down a little too easily, did the Frenchman. This is what Obertan can do, though. He can turn nothing into something. Yeah, nothing into that one. On the second look, so we're halfway through these 4 minutes. Just stoppage time at the end of 90 here. Zumbuya goes down with some face contact. And that'll bring on the trainer, and that will add on to these stoppage minutes. Charlotte will have a chance here to get this one into the mixer. Luis Alvarez coming over to take it. Emiliano Terzaghi pleading his case as always.
Fans, after tonight's match, Charlotte Independent are on the road for 3 straight games at the South Georgia Tormenta FC.
Booyah's going to have to come off.
A road game at Richmond against Richmond Kickers and North Carolina FC.
Well, his physical presence won't be missed in the box, but his ability to pounce on a loose ball will. As Alvarez look to hoist this one into at least the edge of the 18-yard box. That's exactly what he does. Headed away by Gordon. Terzaghi. One minute remaining in the original 4. Stoppage time. "14 shots now for the Independents, but only the 4 on target. Just 3 shots for the Kickers, only 1 that bothered Austin Pack. We'll have our save of the match, man of the match, and play of the match after this one. Stick around. Turnover here by the Kickers, though. Can they manufacture one last chance? Headed away by Spielman. Terzaghi goes down. Nothing there. Zaka Morant. No chance perhaps for the Independents to break. Sis. Out wide to Alvarez in tons of space in the right channel. And the Independents pull it out late here. Alvarez. Oberton. Lays it back for Kelly, who does the same to Sis. Still with it. Oberton again. Alvarez with the cross, headed down. Dimmick is in the vicinity. He's going to chase it down with a... Listen, Owen Gordon's always going to win that race, especially in the last couple of minutes when he's come off the bench. That's going to be a foul on Emiliano Terzaghi, and he's not happy about it. He's going to get a yellow card for his remonstrations. Terzaghi's got to be careful here. Daniel Chesky had just had enough. Here's a look at it on the Activision LASIK replay. Clearly a shove in the back. Dan Sawatsky disagreed with it. He was trying to get Terzaghi to calm down and not pick up the card. Fitzgerald comes for this one, gets a fist on it, but only as far as Oberton. The shot's blocked out in front by his own player. Whether that one was going in, we'll never know, as that's the end of this one from American Legion Memorial Stadium. It will be the Charlotte Independents 0, the Richmond Kickers 0. Gabriel Oberton ruining that final attempt. He is, however, your man of the match. He was all over the place tonight. The veteran, former Premier League man. On the left, on the right, up the middle, causing all sorts of trouble. Combining well with his fullbacks, Gabriel Oberton, the 34-year-old Frenchman, your man of the match, presented by Adidas. As Terzaghi still pleading his case. But it will be 1 point apiece between the Jacks and the Kickers here in the season opener for both teams. Remember, only half the teams in action in this opening weekend, so one more game to go tonight between Knoxville and Lexington. It's time for your play of the game, presented by Paycourt. It's this little bit of nifty footwork here by Gabriel Oberton. Went down a little easily though, looking for the penalty. He wished he'd have stayed on his feet. We could have seen what would have happened. That's your play of the match, once again presented by Paycourt. Splitting the double team, a lovely little touch. And Oberton, perhaps a little out of gas by that point, but a man of the match performance by the Frenchman and the play of the match. So the spoils are shared here in North Carolina. We'll see these two teams again meet in Richmond in a couple of weeks. Time for your save of the match, brought to you by Orange Theory. It was the only save of the match made by the Independents goalkeeper, Austin Pack. It was early on, a jinking little run by Neil Vinyals from about 16 yards out. Pack had to get down quickly. arm that one away. And that is your save of the match. Once again presented by Orange Theory Fitness. Vinyals with that dinky little run, just lost his footing a little at the end. Pack with his only save in the game to preserve the 0-0. Well, stick around with us. We'll be right back with full-time highlights from this one and the stats. Your final score, Charlotte 0, Richmond 0.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Stand up, Independence fans. Take a break from squinting to see that tiny soccer ball bounce around that big field. Now take off your glasses, rub your eyes, put some eye drops on your contact lenses, or let my friends at AccuVision LASIK help you get that 20/20 vision you need to see the match in high def. Mention Independence and get $1,000 off LASIK. Go get the details right now at AccuVisionLASIK.com. That's AccuVisionLASIK.com.
What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great clips. It's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good is when your haircut costs less. Great is when it still meets high standards. At Great Clips, you'll always get the haircut you want for less. And with our easy online check-in app, you'll save time too. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Welcome back to Charlotte, where Dane Kelly made his return to the Independents. Had a couple of half chances, couldn't find the back of the net though, as this one finishes 0-0 between the Jacks and the Kickers. Let's take a look at your full-time highlights presented by Chick-fil-A. Both teams lacking a little bit of quality in the final third. This was maybe the best chance of the first half for the Independents as Kira Fitzgerald slipped, and luckily the ball didn't bounce a little further away from him. Otherwise, our man of the match, Gabriel Obertan, certainly would have had the opener in this one. Just managed to cover with his right foot and then pounce on it just by the penalty spot. Kira Fitzgerald, not what we're used to seeing from the veteran. This was a half chance here for the Kickers. Michael Hornsby, he was a pain down the left all night. That was into the side netting though from the 24-year-old German. Nice debut though for the left back of Darren Sawatsky. Buyu had a relatively quiet night. Clay Dimmick finding himself at an unfamiliar place. That was probably the best save of the evening. Kira Fitzgerald is near post, denying Corey Bennett. And on came Dane Kelly 10 minutes or so into the second half, and he showed why he's the leading goal scorer in the USL Championship at times, but just couldn't find that quality chance. It was half chances. That one was blocked in the end. This game would finish scoreless, the season opener for both teams. Two playoff sides from last season. As you can see, the stats heavily in favor of the home team. The Independents with 15 total shots to Richmond's 3, and 4 on target to 1. Each keeper with decent save to preserve this scoreless draw. 4 yellow cards for the Kickers, 1 for the Jacks. Well, thanks for joining us tonight as we open Saturday night play in the 2023 season. We didn't have any goals for you, but we saw two playoff teams from last year battle it out. See how they improve next week as we go into the season. Don't forget to check out the 7 p.m. Eastern game tonight between the one Knox and Lexington, the two new sides, but the two playoff teams from last year. No goals here tonight in Charlotte. My name's Russ Davenport. Thanks for joining us on ESPN+.
United Soccer League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League One.